What's up, everybody? Welcome to Live with Jay, with Jose. On here hanging out. How's everybody doing? Live with Jay, number 94. What's going on? How's everybody doing? Hopefully, you don't mind me being a little late. Coming home. I was doing some shopping before I got home. I was in Concord earlier, and then I came back towards El Sobrani, and I had to buy a couple things at the grocery store. And now I'm home. Didn't work today off, and just chilling at the at the castle. So yeah, today we're gonna have a discussion about different things, different topics, and for sure it's gonna be an interesting one. You know what I mean? So hopefully you guys are ready. Ron Garcia, what's up, everybody? What's up, Ron Garcia? What's up, Shortcuts? Esepeda, how you doing? Give me a second. So yeah, man. So how's everybody doing? I was just taking care of a few things. Hopefully everyone's doing good. Ron Garcia, Abraham L, Chris Grimes. You know what I mean? Shortcuts and everybody else who's out there. What's up, everybody? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. How you like my hat? It's the FP County. Uh, it's the Charlie Brown. I like the hat. I bought it in the Mission District, San Francisco. But that was my original name. So what's up, man? How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's doing good. You know what I mean? The South Oakland, South Oakland in the house. What's up, Timo? Fresno Bulldogs. Sure, Fresno Bulldog. Jose a Brown Sider. I'm a Brown Prider. I'm all brown today. But anyway, let's get with the show. Gracias. Got a lot of things I want to I want to talk about. Kind of just letting everybody get comfortable before I start talking. But yeah, man. So, what do you guys think about what's going on in El Salvador? That Nayib Bukele won the re-election, and what do you guys think about him? Leave it in the comments. Do you think he's a dictator? Do you think he's evil? Do you think he's out of pocket? Do you think he did good for El Salvador? Or do you think he did bad for El Salvador? You know, me being half Salvadorian, I know Salvadoran history, and El Salvador's history is very, very, very violent and bloody, as most Latin American countries are, and unfortunately, you know what I mean. I mean, El Salvador has had dictators, it's had corrupt governments, it's had death squads, and you name it, it's had it. You know what I mean? Corrupt police, you know. But yeah, Nayib Bukele. Those of you who don't know, he's at one time he was a liberal himself. He was a member of the FMLN, and and he became kind of like I don't even know if he's a right winger or I don't even know if he's a centrist. But he basically went his own way. He cleaned up the country to some degree. He put a lot of the the MS and 18th Streeters in jail. You know, he did like a mass arrest of gang members in El Salvador. And you know, to be honest with you, El Salvador's gangs, man, you know, they haven't been the nicest people in El Salvador. You know, they do a lot of messed up things. They do a lot of things that even here in this country they might be deemed no good. You know what I mean? They've killed innocent civilians. They've you know killed kids. You know, killed women. You know, killed innocent people. You know, done stupid things like shoot up a whole bus of just people coming home from work, like stupid stuff like that. Kidnapping little girls and doing God knows what with them. I mean, they do messed up things. So it's not like they're like the nicest people in the world. You know what I mean? The gangs out there. They've done some messed up things and They basically made most people's lives a living hell out there. You know what I mean? And yeah, man. My dad used to tell me that there were no gangs or nothing like that in El Salvador when he was growing up. All that started in the '90s when members of gangs were being deported back to El Salvador in the '90s and 2000s, and they brought that gang culture out there, and they glorified it, and a lot of people joined those gangs, and it's just been a mess out there ever since. You know what I mean? And before that, El Salvador had a civil war for like what 10 years, and that was also a mess too, and that was sponsored. Let's not forget, and Timo might agree with me on this one. The good old U.S. of A. sponsored that one. You know what I mean? And if you think about it, gangs like MS-13 started here in the U.S. in L.A. They didn't start in El Salvador. They didn't have gangs in El Salvador. There was no gang culture in El Salvador. The gangs in El Salvador are a product of the United States, the same way that the war in El Salvador in the '80s was a product of the United States. It's the truth. Because in the '80s, we were too busy fighting communism. We were too busy letting drug cartels sneak in drugs to use the money to fund anti-communist groups. You know what I mean? So it was a mess. And El Salvador has been in shambles ever since. That's a reason why so many Salvadorians immigrated to the United States, because the country has been messed up. You know? Exactly, Timo. And it's our foreign policy that created these problems. And now, and Timo might agree with me because you're from the San Jose area. Now you're seeing a whole new group of people who've been affected by U.S. foreign policy coming to the Bay Area. Now you're starting to see a lot of people from Venezuela and Colombia in the Bay Area, especially the San Jose area. You know what I mean? But even in the East Bay and Concord and Oakland and San Francisco, you know what I mean? So, all those people come here because of the foreign policies that our countries have done, like Plan Colombia, you know what I mean? Venezuela's, some of the embargoes and stuff we've done in Venezuela because this country doesn't like their government. Same thing that happened in El Salvador in the '80s with the wars. But we're talking about specifically about Nayib Bukele. So he won a re-election, and people are calling him. I'm sorry, I got a cough. Hold on, let me see if I got a cough drop. Hold on, real quick. Yeah, I got one. Ah. Let me take a cough drop real quick because this cough is killing me. But anyway, Nayib Bukele, the thing about him was it, like Mexico, El Salvador didn't have re-elections, and the reason people are calling him a dictator is because he changed the constitution of El Salvador in order for himself to get re-elected. Now, is that just going to be one time thing, or is he Mr. Presidente for life? Which I don't know if that would be a good thing necessarily, but he definitely, to some degree, cleaned up the country. Now, it's not perfect, and there are messed up things going on out there also within his administration, from what I've been told. But as far as gangs and some of the safety issues, it's a lot of people told me that El Salvador is definitely a lot more safer than it used to be. I've talked to a lot of people who've been down there now. I'm planning on going down there. You know, one of the reasons I hadn't went in a long time was because of the gang issue out there. I'm not a gang member, but still, but yeah, man, it's the foreign policies that our governments have created. They push a lot of Salvadorians out. The gangs as well from the U.S. that co-opted El Salvador. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Tell me, guys, what you guys think in the comments about the whole situation in El Salvador. You know, if you know the situation. That's what most America, Venezuela going through it too. Yeah, oh yeah. A lot of Venezuelans in the Bay Area, Cepeda. I've been noticing a lot of them out here now. And Colombians too. A lot. They're coming in numbers out here, boy. I'm telling you. In a couple of years, there's going to be a lot of them out here. They're going to be a really big presence if they keep coming out this way. But yeah, man. But you know, the Bay Area has always been pretty international when it comes to Latinos. Which I live right around the corner from MacArthur Park. And that's all started. Oh yeah, I know about that. MacArthur Park, Pico Union, and all those areas. I got a lot of them live by me. I thought for the longest time they were Salvadoran, but oh yeah, Hondurans too. Well, the thing is, this whole quote unquote border, for which when hasn't there been a so-called border crisis? As long as I've been alive, people have been saying, "Oh, there's a border crisis. Oh, the border, the Mexicans, the Beaners are taking over." It's nothing new. It's nothing new. You know what I mean? It's just nothing new, bro. You know, but now it's not really Mexicans coming over. It's more people from Venezuela, people from Colombia, people from Honduras, El Salvador, people from Nicaragua. A lot of Nicaragua too. I've been noticing a lot of people from Nicaragua in the Bay Area too lately. I mean, there's always been people from Nicaragua here, but I've been noticing a lot of more recent immigrants. Yeah, Salvadorans and Hondurans kind of basically talk similar, bro. So it's hard to distinguish them unless you really know. But even me, I'm half Salvadorian. I've met Hondurans before, and I just thought they were Salvadorians myself, and they're like, "Oh no, somos de Honduras." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So you know, it's hard for me to tell them apart sometimes. Even some Nicaraguenses kind of have the same draw. Texas, what do you expect? Texas is an extremely right wing place. But you know, I want to talk about a little bit about Salvador because I feel I don't talk about it as much, and it is part of me. I am half Salvadorian, you know what I mean, and you just want to talk about the current state of affairs out there. You know what I mean? What's going on with Nayib Bukele? And I don't know if you guys knew the reason his name is Nayib Bukele is because he's Arabic. A lot of people don't realize that he is Salvadorian, obviously, but he's like a second generation Arab, bro. He's a Palestinian, and those who I don't know if you guys know, there's a pretty good sized Palestinian community, Palestinian community in El Salvador. Just like there's also Jewish people in El Salvador too. You thought I was Samoan? Why do people always say that I look Samoan? Do I really look Samoan? I don't see it. Oh yeah, in LA there's a lot. Yeah, but he is Palestinian, bro. Shortcuts. That's not a lie. Naive is an Arabic name. He's Palestinian Salvadorian. I mean, it's just like no different than being a Palestinian American. You know, like if you're Palestinian, you're born here. He's just a Palestinian who was born in El Salvador because a lot of this is what people don't realize. A lot of Palestinians came to El Salvador in the 1920s when the Ottoman Empire took over Palestine. A lot of them were actually Palestinian Christians. They weren't Palestinian Muslims. And a lot of them fled the Ottoman Empire, which was a Turkish Muslim empire at the time that invaded a lot of countries, including Palestine. It's funny how no one talks about that. No one talks about the invasion of Palestine by the Ottoman Empire or the Ottoman Empire, as they were called, I think, in their language. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's a Palestinian. That's why his name is Nayib Bukele. Nayib for sure is an Arabic name because I actually knew an Arab named Nayib. You know what I mean? And yeah, he's part Palestinian. And there's a lot of You'd be surprised how many Salvadorians have Palestinian roots. Not all of them, but there are some. I've met some before. You know what I mean? But because Arabs kind of look like Latinos, bro, they could, if you mix yourself, if a Palestinian mix with a Salvadorian, they're not going to come out looking too different. That's probably why you wouldn't be able to tell the big difference. You know what I mean? But yeah, they're in El Salvador. There was a lot of Palestinians who came there during the Ottoman Empire in the 1920s. You know, they were fleeing the Ottoman Empire from Palestine. Yes, and you know what? I'll teach you guys another thing. Shortcuts might know what I'm talking about. In El Salvador, they call Palestinians Turcos, even though the irony is Turco means Turks, and the Palestinians were running away from the Turks. But the reason they call them Turcos is because they had Ottoman Empire passports that said Turkey on them. So people assumed in El Salvador they were Turks, so they just call them Turcos, even though in reality they're Palestinians. Drew a cowboy hat, Mexico, do an Irving cut. What's up, Sam boy? I mean, there's a lot of Arabs in Mexico and El Salvador. Look at one of the most richest men in Mexico is Arabic. Carlos Slim, he's Lebanese. The famous actor Capulina, he was Arabic. He was Lebanese. Salma Hayek is Lebanese. You know what I mean? A few other people from Mexico too. What's up, Sam? We're talking about El Salvador right now, about the history of El Salvador and about the election going on up there that it just happened with Nayib Bukele. I'm trying to get people's input or what they thought of the situation. In a way, we got to remember the Arabs. Yes, Shakira also is Lebanese. Yep. But you got to remember, Chris, a lot of Spanish has Arabic influence because the Arabs or the Moors ruled Spain for 700 years. So yeah, there's definitely words like el, al. That's all Arabic. Uh, like anything like alcalde or alcalá, like last names like that are Arabic origin. Even Medina is an Arabic name. Al Pastor, yeah, exactly. El Chingón. A la verga. Mexico and Central America and South have a lot of Jewish people. Oh yeah, Mexico has Jewish people that were more recent, and also the Spanish convert Jews, for sure. That's well known. The northern part of Mexico, a lot of it was founded by converted Jews. They call them conversos, or they call them marranos too, which was a derogatory term for them. El Borracho, Los. I don't know if Los is Arabic, but I know El and El is. Why do you think there's groups like Al Qaeda? You know, Al. Loqueria, possibly. I heard alcalde is the Arabic word. Must be a war. There's a storm a coming. And these motherfuckers, they want to start wars left and right with Russia, with the Middle East, with Iran. They're not going to be happy till they're caught up in a World War III or something, man. Or at least on the brink of it. Then they're not going to know what to do. You know? But yeah, man, I just want to talk about the El Salvador thing. Now I'm going to change to the next subject. If anyone has anything they want to throw about the El Salvador thing, leave it in the comments before I go to the next subject. So scanning up to see to this new president. I don't know, bro. That's a good thing. Send all the bippers to Gaza. Yes, that's my next topic, Sam Boy, about what's going on in Oakland. And I'm gonna make a video about that too, but I'm gonna talk about it in this live. Now, you know, those of us who are from Oakland, and even those of us those who aren't from Oakland, at least you guys can learn from those of us who are from there and know the history of the city. You know, Oakland right now is going through it, and it's not the first time it's gone through it, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of crime in Oakland right now. There's like a big crime wave, especially when it comes to robberies, bipping, armed robberies, and burglaries and robberies of stores and businesses. And there's a lot of factors to it. A lot of factors. I would say to me the difference between crime today and crime like in the 90s. My in-law just got followed home in Oakland, got robbed. Yeah, man, it's fucked up out there right now, bro. But anyway, back to what I was saying. And this, I'm not gonna make any excuses for what's going on in Oakland right now. But historically, man, if you know the history of Oakland, Oakland has been Oakland has been through a lot of crime waves over the years, man. It's nothing new. It's definitely nothing new. I hate to say it. It's nothing new. It's been going on since at least, you know what I mean? At least since the 70s, like at least late 70s. I think the first time Oakland had a real big crime problem was in the late 70s, early 80s. Till about the time when uh, 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 probably around the time of Frank Ward and the Mac and all that, till about the time of Felix Mitchell. You know what I mean? And then things kind of died down a little bit, and then crack hit the scene, and then things got crazy again. And this is mid 80s all the way to about mid 90s. You know what I mean? Most violent era ever in Oakland. Ever, period. People forget that. The most violent eras in Oakland's history, whether people want to accept it or not, was the mid 80s to the mid 90s. That era was, at least murder wise, that was probably the highest murder rate era ever. Period. You know what I mean? And you had that era. Things kind of slowed down in the late 90s. Yeah, there was crime, but it wasn't as bad. Some of the, a lot of people from the crack era got killed, went to jail. And you also got to remember, a thing that we forget is that during the crack era, the hard on crime laws came in. They were charging people special circumstances. They get caught with crack. You also had the three strikes law that came in at the time. You also had three strikes law, crack, you know what I mean? Being charged extra for crack, dealing crack cocaine. You also had the gang enhancement charges. You had a lot of things at that time. You know what I mean? You had a lot of things that were against you. And if you were caught doing dumb shit, you were going to jail. And some dudes are still doing time from that time. You know what I mean? Some people are still locked up to this day from that time. So I think the late 90s, yes, it was violent, but at least from my memory, and tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Samboy Shortcuts, you guys might know, because you guys are from Oakland too. But the late 90s seemed like they were bad, but they were chill at the same time. The effects of the crack cocaine era and gangbang era were there, but they had slowed down a little bit because of all the fucking shit and people going to jail and all that. Not to say it wasn't bad, but it seemed like it was a little bit more chill. Because I remember late 90s, I used to kick it in Oakland all the time. Late night, all the time. I was in the town all the time, bro. Because, I lived in Oakland in the late 90s for a little bit. So, but even when I left Oakland, when I lived there, when I left, I was there all the time, bro. I was kicking it at all hours of the night with homies, with females, and nothing ever happened to me. Nothing. I remember going to Mary's Bakery to eat late at night. I remember going to Quarter Pound Giant Burger, give me a burger at night. You know what I mean? I remember being all over, sometimes even in the deep. No one ever bothered me, bro. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about the late 90s. So I remember it was kind of chill. It was obviously dangerous. And obviously motherfuckers were still getting killed. You know what I mean? But there was, I don't know. I don't want to say there was a label of safety, but it was definitely a little bit more mellow. It had mellowed out a little bit, if you remember what I'm talking about. And then, Around 2003, 2005, 2004, the hyphy movement started. Now, by that time, I'm already an older dude. And, the hyphy era made Oakland violent again. That era was very violent, and those of you who are from that era know what I'm talking about. But even me as an adult already at the time, I remember there was a lot of homicide rate. I think 2005 or 6 was one of the highest of that era. Everybody was shaking their dreads but getting blasted at the same time. You know what I mean? And things got messed up around that time. There was a lot of robberies. There was a lot of murders. You know what I mean? There was a lot of bad things going on during the hyphy era. And again, at the time, people were worried about what was going on in Oakland. People were talking about the crime is high in Oakland, and it was bad. But then something happened, I guess. By at least by 2010, 11, it started winding down a little bit. I think the last violent year was like 2012, I think. But by 2000, I think 13 or 14, it started kind of calming down a little bit. And obviously this was the gentrification era that we're talking about. And the prices went up. A lot of people got pushed out of Oakland. A lot of white people came into Oakland. A lot of tech people, a lot of yuppies, hipsters came to Oakland. I would say during that era there was good and bad. I think the bad is that a lot of people got pushed out. The good, that Oakland cleaned up for a little while, and there was a lot of places you could go kick it in Oakland. People were actually coming to Oakland to have fun. You had First Fridays, you had all kinds of clubs up and down Telegraph. I was my most busiest at that time in Oakland. I was performing clubs all up and down Telegraph and Broadway at that time, bro. You know what I mean? And I was meeting people from all over that were coming to Oakland. It was a trip to me seeing all these folks, especially white folks, so comfortable in Oakland. I mean, it bothered me, but then it was a trip too. Like, wow, who would ever think you would see like white people comfortable in Oakland? You know what I mean? And yeah, the thing is, like, some people would say, well, all these businesses opened up, but they're not businesses for the raza or for the black people. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's true. I could see that to a degree. That definitely was happening. There was a lot of places that definitely, if you were black or brown, they would not treat you right. Even in Oakland, for sure. I've seen it with my own eyes in a couple of places. But COVID happened. And, with COVID, you had all the Black Lives Matter protests. You had the defund the police. You had what's her name, Pamela Price, coming to the DA. You had the other DA that got recalled in San Francisco, the Chesa Boudin. And a lot of the soft on crime stuff started coming in. Some had already come in before, but a lot of it started coming in at the time. You know what I mean? Certain things were decriminalized, or you were going to go to jail if you stole a certain amount. And a lot of people feel that and also the police being defunded. And I don't really know if the police were ever defunded in Oakland. If you guys have proof of that, send me a link to it because I'd like to read it. I'll look into it more because I want to investigate that, because people say defund the police is what caused it. But I want to see actual proof that there was a defund the police and that it actually caused the police to be less, or, you know what I mean? So what I'm hearing is Oakland has less police officers. Oakland is soft on crime in many ways. The DA in Alameda County is soft on crime, is what they're saying. And people are saying that the reason crime is out of control right now, at this present time, we're not talking about the hyphy movement, we're not talking about the 80s, is because of that, is what they're saying. You know what I mean? And definitely the crime, at least property crimes, robberies, and stuff like that, have increased for sure. And it's to a degree out of control levels. Businesses are closing, you know what I mean? Denny's closed, In and Out closed, the only In and Out that I know of that ever closed. Um, Black Bear Diner closed. The A's, the Warriors, and Raiders left Oakland. You know, and just a lot of things. And Oakland is just looking bleak, man. I mean, like, there's homeless encampments everywhere. The city is just dirty. People just don't give a fuck about the city. People trash the town like it's nothing. It looks worse than even some third world. I went to third world countries and they didn't even look that bad. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And people say that the Oakland police is not doing their job. I mean, I hear a lot of different things. Definitely, you have a lot of people who feel that they could just come to Oakland and get away with just fucking with people. And it's unfair because a lot of businesses are suffering from that. And I'm not talking about corporate businesses. I'm talking about mom and pop businesses that are owned by black and brown and Asian and even some white folks. And I don't get why people would want to destroy the businesses that serve their community. The thing is, I always ask myself, who is committing all these crimes? And I ask this in the comments. Is it people from Oakland? Or is it people that come out of Oakland because they feel they got a free pass to trash Oakland? And that they feel that they're going to get away with destroying Oakland because no one gives a shit anyway. You know what I mean? So I always ask myself, who are the ones that are trashing Oakland like that? Who are the ones that are destroying the city? Robbing businesses and bipping and all this stuff. Why Oakland, man? Another thing I wanted to say, another problem with another problem with Oakland is the culture of Oakland, unfortunately. As me being a former Oaklander, because I don't live in Oakland no more, but I'm always going to be from the town. The culture in Oakland has always been pretty bad, man. We've always glorified criminality. We've always glorified gangs. We've always glorified drug dealers, pimps. We glorify a lot of the fucking shit that fucking destroys our city. You know what I mean? And it comes a time where, yeah, I get it, man. That's part of Oakland's history, for sure. You know what I mean? But there's a lot more than that, man. There have been a lot of respectable people who did a lot of big things in Oakland, bro. You feel me? And we tend to forget them. We're like, fuck them. I'd rather remember some J-Cat that was selling dope on a corner than remember like some dude that actually helped the city. You know what I mean? The culture in Oakland is very corrupt, bro, and very degenerate in many ways, unfortunately. And I say that because I grew up with that culture. I grew up glorifying the same bullshit, you know what I mean, as a kid, which is the reason why I don't glorify shit like that no more, because none of that shit helps us, you know what I mean? None of that shit helps our people move forward, you know? And when I do talk about drugs or gangs or anything like that, I always tell people the consequences of it, you know? Yeah, Oakland did influence the world. A lot of its culture has influenced people, and Oakland is a beautiful town, and I say that being from there. But there's a lot of ugly things about Oakland, too, that we have to fucking recognize. You know what I mean? That a lot of us, because of our ego, or because, I'm from the town. Well, if you're from the town and you care about it so much, why the fuck are you destroying it? Why do you want your family to live in squalor and you're in the city? To not have businesses, to not have places they could go to. You know what I mean? Why? I don't get that. Why do you want an abandoned city like Detroit? Or like how the Bronx used to be? Because if people think that this crime is going to stop gentrification, it might slow it down. But guess what? When the property values go down, black and brown folks ain't going to buy up nothing. The corporations are going to buy up everything, and they're going to raise the rents once more. You know what I mean? That's the reality. And that's what I think a lot of people from Oakland don't have the balls to talk about. But it is what it is. The culture in Oakland is not good sometimes, man. And it's sad because there's been a lot of positive things that happen in Oakland. Cultural things, revolutionary movements. You know what I mean? Even fucking industrial movements. Fuck, a lot of things that you use every day were created in Oakland. People forget about that. You know what I mean? But yeah, we don't want to remember that. We want to remember the drug dealer, or we want to remember the gangbanger, or we want to remember the dude who destroyed his own neighborhood. You know what I mean? And that's part of the problem. And that's where you get this mentality of, well, let's make up excuses for these dudes criminalizing things. The thing is, a lot of these youngsters, man, they have no direction. They have bad parenting. You know what I mean? Sometimes they come from single families. Sometimes, they come from very broken families, and they have no guidance a lot of times. And it doesn't help when there's OGs that guide them the wrong way too sometimes. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, man. And I just hate to see what's going on in Oakland. It breaks my fucking heart to drive down the city and just looking at it looking like a trash dump. You know what I mean? And it's sad, bro. And people are gonna say, "Oh, Jose, you ain't from the town." Oh, I'm whatever, bro. What's up, Chicano Ideas? You can say whatever you want, bro, but I'm telling the truth. I'm talking real shit right now. But unfortunately, like always, the only way Oakland is gonna recover from this, bro, is gonna be because people are gonna again buy up properties and raise the rents and push everybody out. You know, I would say the crime now is not so much like when we were growing up. Most of the crime was fools selling dope or fools gangbanging. That's what a lot of the crime was in Oakland when we were young. You know what I mean? Today it seems more like it's like fools stealing shit. It seems like it's a lot of homeless out there, a lot of homeless encampments, a lot of fentanyl. You know, and that's what it seems like more to me now than than like crime in the '90s. You know, biotech. Yeah, man, it's just it's sad, bro. Being from Oakland is just sad to see. Because it doesn't affect the people that get affected by this. The corporations don't get affected; they just close up their business and go somewhere else. It affects the people who live there, the black and brown people that a lot of these liberals claim they care about so much. You know what I mean? That's what it affects. It affects the mamas that are going to La Tienda. It affects the black girls, the black ladies or black mothers that are going to the stores to buy groceries. You know what I mean? It affects the Mexican or black families in Oakland that need a place to go. You know what I mean? That's what it affects. It's not gonna affect no corporation. It's not gonna affect the people in the Oakland Hills. You know what I mean? They got insurance. You know. Yeah, could be shortcuts. You might have a point. I mean, think about it. Look at how many radical groups came out of Oakland. The Black Panthers were created. The Chicano movement was pretty big in Oakland. The Native American movement was big. The white liberal movement was, or at least the white radical movement was big in Oakland and Berkeley. So yeah, there was, I definitely, it's no coincidence that all the drugs came in around that time. That's when Oakland got bad the first time. You know what I mean? Was around that time to neutralize groups like the Black Panthers and the Chicano Revolutionary Party and Brown Berets and stuff like that. That's not, Yeah, I heard about the White Panthers. I've heard about the Young Patriots too. Yeah, there were white radical movements in the Bay Area. A lot of them. The Students for a Democratic Society. There was uh, there was the SLA, which they were kind of a mixed group. There was a few others too. They were based out of Oakland and Berkeley. And yeah, the homelessness. People talk about homelessness. Definitely, I mean, definitely, I'm sure that there are people that are homeless right now that were pushed out or that got priced out. I'm not gonna necessarily disagree that there are people like that, but a lot of the homeless out there, bro, a lot of the houseless, uh, are people that aren't even from here, bro. People that come here from God knows where, bro. People that just come out here to be drugged out. That's what most of them are. Because I find it hard to believe that someone will get pushed out and they'll just go to a homeless campment and become a drug addict, a regular working everyday person. I find that hard to believe. I mean, it could happen, but I don't know. David Duke was out here. I can't remember if David Duke. I know the KKK was in Oakland at one point in the 1930s, I think, something like that. You gotta remember, this is another one that people want to hide from. Oakland used to be all white, whether people want to accept it or not. Not all white, but it was majority white for sure. Gold Toes for governor. Blacks and Latinos were segregated in West Oakland back then. You know what I mean? And Asians were segregated in Chinatown. The rest of Oakland was white. Most of them got mental problems or drugged out a lot from Oregon and Washington. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I don't think a lot of them are from here, bro. But yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what's gonna. I don't know what's gonna change the situation. Because I mean, yeah, I may not care. I may not care about corporations, but at the same time, I don't want to see abandoned places in Oakland either, man. And I don't want to see people from Oakland suffering because they can't get their groceries or medicines from the pharmacy because some fucking JCat robbed the place so many places the time the place had to close. You know what I mean? That's fucked up. That a lot of a big group of people are suffering because of some fucking JCats that don't know how to act, and that's what people don't want to accept. You know, Fremont. Well, yeah. By the time we were growing up, most of the white folks were gone in Oakland, at least in East Oakland. But sometimes you gotta be real, man. You gotta come out with the cold facts, bro. But let's keep it real. Places have been closing in Oakland, unfortunately, for a long time. It's even that's not new. If you're from Oakland, yeah, man, Gakko, it's fucked up, bro. And it's only in Oakland because that's not happening in Richmond that much. It's not happening in Vallejo as much. You know what I mean? It is, like Richmond's been kind of quiet from what I know, crime wise. Vallejo has a little bit of crime, but it's not that bad. You know. And what what has created so many kids, youngsters to just do all this stuff? Why are they so reckless these days? Why are they doing this stuff so much? It's not for money. I don't think it's for money. It's not like they're selling dope or nothing like that. They're like, you know, I don't know. But yeah, man, I was saying like in the past, I mean, the Eastmont Mall pretty much disappeared. The MB Mall disappeared. Walmart closed. Super Kmart closed. A lot of businesses kind of went and came and went. I think some kids from here go up, hit licks in Oakland. Yeah, I think a lot of it is kids that are not, or people that are not from Oakland doing a lot of these crimes. Yeah, that's another thing that happens a lot. A lot of fools doing it for clout and stuff. And it's unfortunate, man, because again, the people that are being hurt by this are not corporations, are not gentrifiers. They don't give a fuck. They got money. They could go wherever. It's the people who live in Oakland. It's the poor people who have to survive in Oakland, man. You know, those are the people that are suffering. Your families, if you have family in Oakland, those are the people that are suffering from this bullshit. And that's not fair, man. And what's gonna change it? I don't know, bro. Maybe people have to arm up, you know? Yeah, the stealing thing. See, when I was growing up, that was kind of frowned upon. Like people that like, I didn't like people that stole, bro. And when I had homies and I knew they were like kleptomaniacs, a lot of times I stopped hanging out with them because I was like, well, it's only a matter of time this fool steals from me. So yeah, I never really cared for thieves that much. My mom home work office is moving from Oakland to Pleasanton because of the homeless. Yeah, man. All right, Cepeda. But yeah, man, I just wanted to talk about that. You know, actual residents let strangers. Yeah, that's another thing, man. When I was young, like when I was young, or when I was a kid on East 7th Street, bro, or even remembering hoods like Tingletown, I don't remember ever a fucking outsider coming into the hood destroying the neighborhood, bro, or tearing shit up. That motherfucker will get ran out quick. I remember a dude coming into the block one time, bro, and he left in a body bag, bro. Real talk. You know, I remember something like that when I was a youngster, when I was a kid, right before I moved to Sacramento. You know what I mean? And yeah, motherfuckers weren't gonna go through someone's hood just tearing shit up if they wasn't from that hood. Even sometimes, even niggas that were tearing shit up in their own hood will get looked down upon sometimes. You know? And I'm not saying there was some kind of street code or nothing like that, but definitely that wasn't happening. Now it's like these fools out here in Oakland now, they allow like people to come from all over the place and trash up the town and don't do nothing. Outside of this block. Yeah, for sure. That definitely was. There was more civic pride for sure, like we were talking about. Like, or at least block pride. You didn't have fools coming through a hood starting shit that weren't from there. They get chased out of there quickly. You know. Now it's like a free for all. No one says anything. You know. But yeah, it's a sad situation going on in Oakland, California. What's new though, man? I've been murdered over the weekend. Yeah, like I said, Samboy, Oakland is nothing new, bro. Unfortunately, in Oakland, Oakland's been bad as far back as I can remember, bro. There's been violent crimes. People have always told me, "Oh, you're from Oakland, man. That place is scary." I've heard it all, bro. All you could imagine. I've heard it all. I've heard it through the grapevine. You know. The thing is, I love Oakland, bro. It's my hometown, where I was born, where I was raised half of my life. You know what I mean? You had shoeless Asians regulating. Even the Asians, bro. Like, now there's all these Asian folks getting robbed left and right. I remember when I was young, the Asians they were putting in work when I was young. You didn't have nobody going to Asian neighborhoods starting shit. I don't remember that. You know? Got stolen from by some kids and they jumped on the train and took. Yeah, that's another thing they're doing a lot, huh? Stealing dogs. Fuck, man. Was there ever an Indian? Nah, not that I remember. There were Asian gangs, Mexican gangs, and blacks kind of had their little gangs and crews too. Not really necessarily like Crips and Bloods, but they had like their little neighborhood gangs. Yeah, the Cambodians, Vietnamese too. You know, telling you some of the craziest Asians I ever seen, bro. When I lived in Sacramento, bro, those motherfuckers were nuts. The they call them Hmongs. Them motherfuckers were crazy, but the ones in the town too. I remember them fools. I knew a couple homies that got jumped by some Asians. Yeah, that's true. There were Native American homies for sure. A lot of them actually. I knew a lot of homies that were Native American. Just with no beef with Oakland. Sometimes, yeah, I knew some native Norteños for sure. There was a lot of Native Americans back in the days in the town. I remember. Not out here, Chris. You don't see Asian gangs as much anymore. You see more now, like Asians that don't really gangbang anymore. Like a lot of Asians now got money. I think that's probably why they get robbed a lot. Unfortunately, you don't see like those hood ghetto Asians as much as you used to. Like when I was a youngster. Seems like you've seen them more. Maybe in the valley you still see them, but in the bay they're becoming less and less. I don't even see like thugged out Filipinos no more. I remember there was a lot of them when I was a youngster. I used to know a few native Filipinos that were like thugged out fools. Yeah, there were a few. I messed around with a couple native chicks too. But that's how Oakland used to be. Skunk that warrior. What the hell? John Littleberry. Yeah, basically. Charlie Two Shirts. I remember some of them would have like native pride tattooed on their necks or like on their chest and shit. It's another thing people forget. I'll give you another Oakland history that never gets talked about. When they did the relocation thing in the 1950s, where they relocated a lot of Native Americans to big cities, Oakland was one of the cities they relocated a lot of Native Americans to. Little bit of Bay Area history for y'all. So with pumpkin, that pumpkin cheesecake is bomb. I wish I don't think they have it right now. They only have it during the holidays. I don't think they sell it outside of the holidays. It's only like in November and December when they sell it. But yeah, man, like I said, I love Oakland. Oakland's my hometown. I've seen a lot of the beauty of Oakland, but I've seen a lot of the ugliness of Oakland, unfortunately. Like that dude be saying on IG, Oakland, donde la vida no vale nada, donde la ciudad y el gobierno los tiene abandonados. Who is that dude? Has anyone ever seen him around? Will say, you know what, LA County has more Native Americans living in LA County than any county in California. Really? Used to be a lot out here. There used to be a pretty big community in the Bay Area at one point. Not as many. There's still a few. I still run into a few, but not as much as I used to. There's us, the descendants of indigenous people. There's plenty of us here. Really, I think there was a lot of natives in San Jose. Plenty of Hectors. Hectors. There's a lot of those. Hectors, the reconnectors. A lot of natives moved to the valley. Probably a lot left Oakland and went out there. Masactal. Masactal. Have you seen that fool around? I haven't seen him in a long time. Yeah, it's interesting. There used to be a lot in the Bay, bro, and then they kind of disappeared. There's still some. I still run into them out here, but it's not as many as it used to be. It used to be way more. Mas like that straight from the res. He's from the res of Modesto. I'll do panels again. If I do panels, I'm gonna have to do them earlier when I can be loud and talk. And I should start doing a day for panels. Him and Ricky Ricardo, little Ricky. Hey Gato, you ever seen Ricky Ricardo? There was a native girl with a. She moved to Humboldt from the Chumash tribe. I got a lot of my culture. You should shoot the link. Not right now, bro. I can't. I can't do it right now. I can't have lives this late because it's like it'll be too loud and people are asleep right now. Oh, Ricky. Have you ever talked to him, Gato? I talked to him before, early on. I don't really have a problem with dude. I mean, he's never got mad at me or anything. He does his thing, I do mine. I may not agree with everything he says, but I agree with some things he says. At least he's trying to do something positive a little bit. Reventón from Alabama. Where'd you go to elementary school? From La Tropicana. Where was Tropicana at? That sounds hella familiar. Are you talking about like the old bicycle clubs in Oakland? Like Flankers and Fandango Latino and what were the other one? There were a couple other ones. City Shitty Nights. Tropicana. Well, I know Tropicana, the shopping center in San Jose. The La Placita. Hey Gato, the other day I was at La Placita about last month, and I swear to God, bro, it was half Mexican and half Colombian in there. I was like, what the fuck? Mexicali, which one? Mexicali Rose. Wasn't there a Mexicali Rose and it was like a club in Hayward, if I remember right. El Miami, which one? The one in San Jose. Yoshi's is still out here. Fandango. We're the Eastmont Mall used to have the banda dances and the rap concerts back in the days. Oh yeah, they're everywhere now, guys. So they're not just in San Jose. I'm seeing them up here now. I see them in out here in Concord. I've seen them seen a few here in the Richmond area. I've seen some in Oakland and San Francisco too. They're all over the Bay now, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if they got them in in Hayward now. Flamingos in Redwood City. Venezuelans too in Oakland. Heard they lost their in and out. Well, you were watching. We talked about that. Called El Flamingo on set. Yeah, no, it was called El Nopal. Let's say change the name, but it was called El Nopal. My dad used to actually perform at that club, bro. It was a bar right there on East 14th and Seminary. It's called Nopal. My dad used to perform there in the 80s, bro. I've seen some Gato Negro. There's a few, not as many. There's probably more Colombians, but there are for sure some out here now. Oh yeah, the Gato Negro Club too. Yep. Chamos. He wants to give out food in Oakland. Um, Yeah, I noticed. A lot of the Colombians in San Jose are from a place called Los Llanos, Los Llaneros. A place called Villavicencio. La Nopalera in the 90s. I used to be stupid on one at El Gato Negro. Remember there was a bar called the Three Monkeys Bar on Fruitvale and Foothill? My dad used to play there sometimes. It was across the street from Club Faces. Remember that? It was like a bar, more or less. My dad played music there a few times. My dad was a musician just like me. He used to play Hella Squawks back in the day, in the 80s. A little bit in the 90s too, but more in the 80s. La Frontera, I remember that stupid bar. The original La Frontera was on Fruitvale, on Foothill, on East 14th by Fruitvale, I remember. So yeah, man, I'm probably gonna get off soon, but I wanted to do this live, just tap in with all of y'all. Hopefully, you guys like the live. Broke down a few things, talked to the town. Yep, there used to be a bar, and next door used to be Taqueria Morelia. You can still get their food actually in Alameda. Shortcuts. We should go there one day if you want to go. At Ramiro and Son, Jorge's El Tapatío. They still, I swear to God, they still sell Taco Town food there, bro. In Alameda. A lot of people don't know that. Ramiro's and Son, right off of Park Street. To this day, we go right now. Well, no, probably not open right now. Tio Toño's, I remember that. Remember Los Tres, what was it called? Los Tres Amigos was on in the Doves off of East 14th. I'm down, let me know. We'll go eat there. What's up, brother? Yeah, you can still eat the exact same food from Taco the Town. I'm not even making that up. Have you heard about a group called Lil Joe and La Familia? Yeah, I heard about them. The Hey Baby Que Paso guy. I heard of Freddie Fender too. El Otayes. Oh yeah, they were in Alameda for a little bit, huh? Jalisco's is still there with the carnitas. Where at Jalisco's or at Otayes? I worked there too. No, I'm playing. Would you rather walk at midnight in Del Paso Heights or High Street? Probably High Street. I'm not scared to walk around Oakland. Del Paso Heights? I don't know Del Paso Heights that well. I've been to Del Paso Heights, but I don't know it that well. You're supposed to know who Lil Joe is and Freddie Fender, the guy over here. Otayes, West Side, Alameda. Different area code. So do I. Kinda. Oh man. So what up, y'all? What's going on with everybody? You know, my homie wants me to go out to visit him in Texas. He said he bought my plane ticket. I'm thinking about going, but he's in Dallas though. Too bad he's not in San Antonio at least. I'll go though. Fuck it, just to go check something different. But yeah, my homie wants me to go out there, kick it with him in Texas, doing some photoshops. Puro photoshops. I say, shit. It's Black Texas. We lost a legend this February 3 decades ago. Can you name who it is? 3 decades ago. Who was that? I mean, hungry. Stay here to queer. That's what I told my homie Tejanas. Shadow. It's 4 more weeks of winter. Where is Big Mike? I haven't seen that for hell long. He's still around? We lost a legend this February 3 decades ago. 3 decades ago would have been 30 years ago. Who died 30 years ago? Selena? Selena, right? Was it around this time that she died? No me acuerdo. Richie Valens, he didn't die 3 decades ago. That fool died like half a century ago. He died what, 1959? That was what? 6, 9, 7, 8, 9, 99, 09, 19. He died 65 years ago. That's like 6 decades ago. Yeah, I've never been to. I've been to I've been to Houston briefly, and I've been to Austin. Austin's pretty cool. Didn't get to check out San Antonio. Would have liked to have checked out San Antonio. Didn't get a chance though. I liked Austin though. Austin was pretty fun actually. A lot of good food. I said decades ago. Oh, okay, I thought you said 3 decades ago. I was like, 3 decades ago was not 1959. San Antonio. Have you ever been down to San Antonio Riverwalk? Texas a trip. I've been there before. It's been a while. I think I was out there in like 2018, I think. Like I said, I like to travel to places, man. I like to go to different spots, check out different stuff. Go to the river. Carl, oh yeah, Carl Weathers died, huh? Yeah, I tried a Whataburger. Yeah, Carl Weathers passed away. Remember when he came on that movie called Action Jackson? He came on a lot of movies. Came on Rocky. Came on Predator. Oh yeah, he did play basketball. I mean football. Huh? Apollo Creed. Uncle Dick. I don't know whatever happened to him. I haven't seen him in hell long. El Paso. Never been, bro. What about Juarez, Texas? I mean Juarez, Chihuahua. That borders El Paso. The Rio Grande Valley, South Texas. One day I'll see if I can get myself down there, but they probably that's where all them rednecks are at the border right now. Yeah, with Vanity, yeah. Action Jackson. I seen that when I was a youngster. That's hella old school. That's like the fucking late 80s, I think, when that came out. A lot of folks around here from Eagles Crafts, they were in San Ho. All right, Sam boy, go to a sundown town. Do they still got those out there? There used to be a lot of Tejanos in Oakland too when I was growing up, bro. A lot of people from Texas and New Mexico. A lot of Tejanos out there. Blacks too, blacks and Chicanos. I should have a meet and greet at Denny's. All right, y'all. I'm about to get off. So I came on here about an hour already. Just to do my little live with Jay, a little spill. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed today's live. Hopefully, you got educated on some things. We talked about El Salvador. We talked about Oakland, crime going on out there. We talked about different little things, but they ain't deep like the border. It's all show, Jose. A lot of Mexicans with guns down there. Possibly. All right, y'all. What I'm gonna get off. You guys be safe. Press the like button. You know what I mean. Support the channel. Let people know. Share the video. All that good stuff. Donate. You know what I mean. All that stuff. But yeah, man. This is Jose with Oakland Latinos United. Everybody be good. Sam Boy, Chris Grima, Ron Garcia, Julio Solorio, Timo. You know what I mean. Shortcuts. S. Cepeda. All the folks that Sam Boy as well. All the folks, you know what I mean? Yeah, get at me for sure. Everybody out there, man, that came out today and contributed, be safe. Have a good night. And till the next one. All right, y'all. So say it late.